the future of Dungeons & Dragons is an unquestionably bright one. And with endless amounts of speculation about what is to come down the line, particularly in 2024 with the next evolution of the game that was announced at D&D Live late last year, we have finally got a peek behind the veil to get a good understanding of what is to come, the design philosophies, and how we can all help shape D&D moving forward. This video will focus on what is currently being called One D&D and what that entails for the game. I will, however, be doing a separate video on the Unearthed Arcana playtest material that was also announced. A few months ago, I published a video entitled Why There Won't Be a D&D 6e. I'll leave a link in the description if you would like to watch it, but the short and sweet summary is as follows. Wizards of the Coast and the D&D team have spent far too much time, money, and effort getting 5e to the point that it is at today. It's probably the easiest edition of D&D to jump into as a new player or DM, but also has more than enough complexity and nuance to keep longtime players invested. I argued that the next evolution of the game, announced for 2024, would simply be a continual iteration on that. It would leave 5e as its base and grow and develop and function much more as a living game, rather than waiting for new additions to create meaningful change. And despite a few comments telling me how wrong I was, it turns out I was pretty much on the money. The Wizards Presents event, in addition to providing a few more details about the upcoming Dragonlance release later this year, also provided a roadmap for 2023 and unveiled what is currently being called One D&D. Something to make clear straight away is that the game itself, what you think of when you imagine Dungeons & Dragons, will not be called One D&D. This moniker represents so much more than just the tabletop game itself. The title, One D&D, which is currently just a codename, embodies the holistic vision that the team has for the Dungeons & Dragons experience as a whole. One D&D isn't just a tabletop role-playing game. It's a physical experience that encompasses the TTRPG, but also additional ways to play, such as the Warriors of Krynn board game, digital experiences like D&D Beyond, and a new virtual tabletop that is currently being developed, in addition to books and various other pieces of ancillary supporting material. One D&D is a massive undertaking. 2023 will prove to be a very formative and influential year for the game. In addition to all of the Unearthed Arcana playtest materials that should be released roughly monthly, according to Jeremy Crawford, the year will also see the release of 5 total books for the game, all the while continual development will be ongoing for One D&D. The 2023 roadmap looks as follows. At the start of the year, we will get Keys from the Golden Vault, another anthology adventure, and while these are not typically my favorite, I do recognize the value that they have in both providing additional content to slot into adventures and also to help new players jump into a quick one. Next up in the spring, we'll be getting Bigby Presents Glory of the Giants. This will likely be similar to Fizban's Treasury of Dragons that was released earlier this year. This will be a book with substantial lore and backgrounds on giants and possibly even a few new ones. These are creatures that I personally find to be some of the most fascinating in the game, and I am extremely excited about it. The summer will be big with 2 new books. The first will be The Book of Many Things, which was described to provide many new options for both players and dungeon masters. Immediately, this makes me think of it being something much more akin to Tasha's Cauldron of Everything or Xanathar's Guide to Everything. And secondly, later in the summer, we'll also get the Phandelver campaign. This is more story and development to extend the beloved Lost Mine of Phandelver starter adventure into a more full-fledged campaign. And finally, in the fall, we will see the release of Planescape, a return to yet another much beloved classic D&D campaign setting. This is the first time that we have ever had a full view of the year ahead, clearly provided to us, that wasn't shrouded in mystery or subtle hints, and this is definitely indicative of a shift in paradigm for the D&D team. I am confident that each of these releases will incorporate ideas that are currently in active development for One D&D and will be consistent with the 2024 updates. Seeing as we have seen concepts as far back as The Wild Beyond the Witchlight to be confirmed to be part of One D&D, in the change to monster stat blocks, there is no reason to believe that these books will not provide more and more looks into the more settled aspects of the future of the game. As alluded to earlier, we will also be getting new playtest material released roughly every month over the next year, which will provide players and DMs with ample opportunity to glean insight into the ideas and concepts that are being actively developed or considered for the game moving forward. The team has made it very clear that what changes appear in the updated game will largely depend on what they hear from the community. Feedback will be provided in the form of a survey, which will be released about 2 weeks after each release and available for 2 weeks. The first set of playtest materials is already available through D&D Beyond and is a focus on character origins and a few fundamental quality of life improvements to the game as a whole. We have upon us a rare opportunity to truly influence the development of this game that we all love. Even if you don't normally participate in Unearthed Arcanas, I would urge anyone watching this video to try some of the playtest material and provide your honest feedback. It does not need to be in-depth, and you don't need to spend dozens of hours testing each release. That is not the point. In many ways, someone's gut reaction after simply reading the material is just as valid as someone who spends 20 hours playing with the new material. The team has made it very clear that it is extremely important to them to have a game that is understandable and accessible, and if even on a cursory read you find it complicated or unclear, give that feedback. If you just started playing D&D yesterday, they still want your feedback. Don't let anyone gatekeep you from getting involved if that's what you want to do. The future of Dungeons & Dragons is unquestionably a very bright one, and we have an amazing opportunity to help shape it. I am very excited for the new materials to be released in 2023, in particular the Glory of the Giants and the Book of Many Things, but you can be assured that I will be doing my best to cover and stay up to date with every single Unearthed Arcana release, and if that's something that interests you, feel free to subscribe and check back here for more.